What's up, Georgia officials? I wanted to bring you this very quick video. I'm Kenny Simon. Very quick video on a couple of things. One, early in the season, we're seeing some things around the goal line, in particular with the wing officials, but everyone can benefit from watching this. And we're seeing some things where we're just losing a little bit of focus. So I wanted to bring you a very quick video, 10, 15 minutes, take you through a couple of slides and two or three video clips. And then we want you to have a great game this week. So let's get into this. Okay, couple of reminders. There's some general principles we have around the goal line that we want to just remind you of. These things are in your mechanics manual, so make sure you're reading your mechanics manual. But from what we're seeing on film, they're being sort of inconsistently applied. So we want to make sure that we give you a reminder and that we all sort of tighten up on this upcoming week. So first thing is, we start thinking about goal line mechanics when we get into the red zone, right? So when you're on the 20-yard line, you should start thinking about goal line mechanics. You should start saying things like, this is, I have goal line, etc. And then the headline judge really is the person on the crew that is responsible for communicating who has goal line responsibilities. Now, when you start communicating who has goal line responsibilities, I do want you to consider if you have a line to gain in terms of how we cover the goal line, but do not overcomplicate this. If all else fails, just make sure we have that goal line covered. That is the most important line on the field, okay? Also, communication. We talked about that a lot at camp this summer. Communicate with your cross-field partner, so that's both deep and short wing officials, and also make sure short wings and deep wings, you are communicating with your sideline partner, things that challenge the sideline, plays that challenge the end line. We want to make sure we have some good communication. Talk about these things in your pregame sessions. So listen, bottom line is this: the goal line must be covered when a player crosses the goal line in possession of the ball, right? When we break this down, anytime that goal line is threatened with the ball, in particular with a player in possession of the ball, we need to make sure we are covering that goal line. That's what this is all about. Now, a couple of things I want you to do. I want you to relax and I want you to read the play. There is not a lot of movement that is needed when you're in goal line situation, especially for you deep officials, right? Not a lot of movement is needed. Stand there, read the play, relax, make the call, right? So when we have pile-ups, in particular in the middle of the field, when it's hard for those wing officials to see, we want you to come crashing in, of course. Line of scrimmage officials and your umpires work out a signal for having a player in possession of the ball in the end zone. But remember, we trust the umpire, but we need to keep running in to verify that. If all else fails, remember these things. Do not give up the goal line. So you need to, prior to the snap, make sure you clear the area for the goal line. We may have goal line extended or pylon plays. We want to make sure we're in good position for that, and we're not tripping over players or anything like that. And we want to officiate from the goal line until it is no longer threatened. We do not give up the goal line. Okay, couple of things. Goal line mechanics going in. So first of all, remember, goal line mechanics start on the 7-yard line. On the 7-yard line. Line of scrimmage officials, you have a regular scrimmage play position. You know what that is. If you don't, read. It's in your manual. Deep officials, so that's field judge and side judge in particular, you where that end line and that sideline intersect. You're at a 45-degree angle, get a nice position back there just in case that corner of the end zone is challenged. Be ready to communicate with either your crossfield or your sideline partner on any plays like that. Back judge in the 7-person mechanics, you get on that end line. You need to figure out which side of the field maybe you need to cheat to a little bit, but you're on the end line. Umpire, the only change here is that you're not as deep as you are on a scrimmage play, right? But you don't want to get so tight in there that you could possibly block these wing officials that are moving to the goal lines, right? And then, of course, there are regular scrimmage play position. So when this ball is snapped, here's my personal philosophy on this. If we snap the ball between the 5 and the 7-yard line of scrimmage officials, on the snap, you always immediately move towards the goal line. That's one of the things we're seeing. Like, the ball is snapped and there's this hesitancy. We're not moving. We're sort of waiting to see what happens. When the ball is snapped, you immediately move towards the goal line. But when it's between the 5 and the 7-yard line, I just sort of move towards the goal line, staying in front of the runner, right? Especially on run plays. I just sort of try to stay in front of the runner, but I'm moving towards the goal line, right? Or if this is a team that likes to throw a lot, I want to make sure I'm at the goal line if they throw a very quick pass into the end zone, right? So Between the 5 and the 7 yard line, I don't run all the way to the goal line, but I move towards the goal line immediately, making sure I will be there when the ball gets there. Okay. Now, when the ball is snapped between the goal line and the 5 yard line going in, I move immediately to the goal line and I officiate from there. Make sure you get deep into your restricted area so that you don't have to do a lot of moving. Your only movement is to the goal line and you're standing there just in case that pylon is challenged. And remember this, all officials should stay with your keys longer in the goal line mechanic situations. We don't pass off keys as much. The blocks and holds often happen very quickly. So we want to make sure we have eyes on that. Last slide, goal line mechanics coming out. This is where I'm really seeing the wings struggle. Remember, goal line mechanics apply to any play between the goal line and the 10-yard line. For some reason, wing officials think they only apply whether we're on the 1, 2, or the 3-yard line. All right, so on these plays coming out, all officials who have regular scrimmage play positions, when the ball is snapped between the goal line and the 3-yard line, both line of scrimmage officials will move immediately to the goal line. You will officiate from there until the goal line is no longer threatened. No need to move around and try and guess. You move there, that is where you officiate from until the goal line is no longer threatened. Okay, when the ball is snapped anywhere between the 3-yard line and the 10-yard line, headline judge, doesn't matter which side of the field you are on, first half or the second half, you are responsible for covering the goal line. All right. So when that ball is snapped, your first steps need to be back towards the goal line. So here's a little philosophy I like to use. Between the 5 and the 10-yard line, the headline judge should allow the play to develop before they figure out how far back towards the goal line they need to retreat. Right. But in all cases, you move towards the goal line. So if we snap the ball, for example, from the 6-yard line, my first few steps are back towards that goal line. I'm reading the play. And if it was a quick handoff up the middle, goal line's not threatened, I may not get all the way back to the goal line. But your first steps are immediately back towards the goal line. I do like to move towards the goal line if we're at the 5 or less, right? I will go immediately to the goal line. But anything between the 5 and the 10, my initial steps are back towards the goal line. I'm reading the play to let the play tell me whether or not I need to continue and move towards the goal line. So we'll show you a couple of videos on that. And remember, a runner must advance the ball completely over the goal line to avoid a safety. So these are just some reminders. And so also I want you to remember, like this is simple stuff. This is reading your mechanics manual and staying focused. And so I'm going to show you a couple of video clips here now. Some around the goal line, going in, going out, and then I have a couple of videos I want to show you on maintaining focus. So let's get into that.
Okay, really quickly, goal line coming out. So we're snapping this ball from the 10-yard line. We are still in goal line mechanics. This is the first half of this game. And so this official here on this side of the field is the headline judge. You are the person that is responsible for getting to the goal line when the ball is snapped. Your first step should be immediately towards the goal line. This ball is snapped. Luckily, nothing happens. But I would have liked to see your initial steps be back towards this goal line, even if it's just 2 or 3 steps into the backfield, just in case this player gets hit. The ball shoots to the goal line. I know we have an R back here that's on the goal line by position, but I need the headline judge in terms of the wing officials to be the person who covers this play. So even when we're on the 10-yard line, wing officials, when this ball is snapped, your first steps are immediately towards the goal line. Okay, play number 2. Again, we are snapping from the 10-yard line. We have a third and long here. Your initial steps should be towards the goal line. This is what I would like to see. We are on the 10-yard line. We are still in goal line mechanics coming out. Ball is snapped. We have a quarterback back here holding the ball a long time, scrambling around and towards the goal line, but yet this official decides to move only when the quarterback has been tackled and the play has ended. I would have loved to see you all the way back, in this case, on the goal line. This player was hanging around enough around the 2-3 yard line area to where this headline judge, this is the first half of this game, should have been on the goal line by the time this play ended. Okay, now let's talk about a few plays going in. Here we are snapping the ball from about the 6 or 7 yard line. We are in goal line mechanics. The deep officials are sitting perfectly at that intersection between the sideline and the end line at a 45-degree angle. Everyone else is in the correct positions. Now, here's what I want you to understand about this play. I need for this official, this is early in the first half, so this is also a line judge, right? Remember, we're swapping this year. Actually, no, this is a line judge. This is a chain side. So up here at the top of the screen, there are way too many people in this area. This is a nationally televised game, big game amongst schools that are ranked pretty highly in their states. I need you to clear a path. If you want to back out, there are too many people for you to trip over. The mechanics are great on this play, right? Pretty quick pass to the end zone, good mechanics, but I need you to start deeper, right? You're a little too shallow. Start deeper, and I need you to clear this area out. Now, on this particular play, we, again, are goal line mechanics going in, snapping inside of the 5-yard line. So when this ball is snapped, both officials should be moving immediately towards the goal line. Everyone else is positioned properly on this play. But here's the first mention of the focus, right? It's one thing, you know your mechanics, and it's another thing to make sure you're focused on the things you need to be focused on. This official in this play makes a very good call on their key, so they do a good job of sticking with their key, right? A little longer than you normally would from a scrimmage play that is not a goal line mechanics play, but they draw a blank on making sure they actually get to the goal line. Let's see how this plays out. So if you watch, this line of scrimmage official is watching the key. The key commits an offensive pass interference, immediately goes and starts to block the defender, but this official does not move to the goal line when the ball is snapped. We need to stay focused. Give you one more look at it. It's a block, right? So good flag, but you should have been throwing that flag from the goal line. So on this particular play, again, goal line mechanics going in, snapping the ball from about the 7-yard line. You can see the deep officials are positioned where they need to be positioned. The umpire may be a little bit deep for goal line mechanics. I'll let you umpires work that out. But here is what I've been seeing in the first week. So watch the official, the line of scrimmage official at the bottom of the screen, right? Moving comfortably and all of these things, but on the snap, you do not move immediately towards the goal line. We're losing focus, right? You should be ahead of this runner. You should be at the goal line by the time this play ends. And instead, you sort of move with the runner and get a spot. This is not what we want to see. Okay, I want to show you just 2 plays on focus, and then we're done, and I want you all to have a great week. So listen, this is a try, right? Buford has scored, and they are lining up for the try, and teams love to line up in the swinging gate or some form of the swinging gate. A couple of things I need you to be aware of when they line up this way. First of all, this is a scrimmage play, so this crew is lined up properly. You need to get your eligibles immediately. You need to also make sure that snapper has a number that allows them to be an eligible receiver or not, and to make sure there are 5 number 50 through 79. So there are a lot of things we need to process when these teams don't line up in a traditional try formation. Who are your eligibles? I see a lot of eligibles by position and by number. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 of them, right? And so on this particular play, this crew does a good job. You are also in goal line, right, mechanics. So when this ball is snapped, no one's in formation to really kick the ball. We need to be moving towards the goal line and officiating this like a goal line play. This particular play, they do not kick it. Check it out. I think they actually read and see what the defense is doing. Defense is being a little bit lazy, huddling up around the center, assuming that everyone's going to shift over, and they do not. Wings do a great job of getting to the goal line on this one. Good job of staying focused. Okay, last play. So listen, this is how quickly we can lose focus if we're not locked in. This is one play later, right? This is the same crew that just had sort of a swinging gate formation where it ended up being a run. They did the goal line mechanics perfectly, covered it perfectly. And now, one play later, just a couple of minutes later, we lose some focus. If you look closely, you will see there is a coach that is literally standing in the white in front of this official. This doesn't happen. We cannot allow this to happen. I don't know what you need to say. I don't know if you need to delay the kickoff and give this coach some attention. But we do not kick off. We do not do a free kick with this coach standing where this coach is standing. And when this ball is actually kicked, this coach is still standing there. All right. That's one area where we lost focus. And then watch what happens when this ball is kicked. Right. There are a couple of breakdowns. Right. And I'm going to pause it when we get there and talk to you a little bit about it. That coach is still there. All right. So if you watch the play, not sure if you caught it. Let me take it back just a little bit. Here's what I want you to understand. When this ball is kicked, this ball is actually muffed. Right. It is muffed into the end zone. A muffed kick in the end zone, right? In high school, we blow that dead. We do not do that. And then the wing official actually, they allow this runner to come out, and the wing official leaves the goal line while the goal line is still threatened, right? And actually has to almost overruns the play, right? So this is a great crew. I think I know a couple of these people on the crew, state championships and all, but we can all lose focus. This is just a basic free kick. And we have about 3 breakdowns on this play. One from letting a coach stand on the field, the other letting a muff kick be brought out of the end zone, and then a wing official almost overrunning this play and leaving the goal line before the goal line is no longer threatened. Let's watch it. It's a muff. Wing official, you're leaving way too early, had to back up and then come in and get the spot. So listen, let's just make sure we're staying focused. Let's have a better week this week than we had last week. Find something that you can get better at. And you guys have fun this Friday. Thanks.